So you see a lot of yogis will do headstands in whatever variation. And we have this idea that we have to learn headstand in order to be a good yogi. But a headstand is really, really great just for revitalizing your energy or sometimes calming your energy. But to get into the headstand is sometimes a little tough. So let's learn how to do a headstand safely. What you're going to need is 3 sets of blocks. 3 sets of blocks. And you're also going to need a step ladder. Most people have a step ladder at home, preferably 2 steps, no more than that. If you don't have a step ladder, you can just use like a little mini footstool or something. That's fine too, but then you don't get to climb. So let's get started on our beginner headstand. So I know that 3 sets of blocks is a lot, but you can get so many of these blocks for so cheap now. But just keep in mind that 2 sets of my blocks are rather thick. And then these are my travel blocks, and this is a little bit thinner. If all of your blocks are thin, you're probably going to get a little bit more head on the ground, which if you're new to headstand or if you don't really have headstand in your practice, it might be a little overwhelming for you. But I kind of like having the 2 thicker blocks on the bottom and then the lighter block on the top. And you'll want to stack them against your wall and make sure that they aren't going anywhere. So what I like about these cork blocks is they're pretty solid on the ground. And you can face them lengthwise towards the wall. And the width of them are going to be the width of your shoulders, because your shoulders are going to be resting on these blocks. Okay? So just in short, the practice is going to be, you're going to be dipping your head between the blocks, and the shoulders are going to be resting on here. All right? So here's where we get our step ladder. And even if you have like an ottoman, I wouldn't suggest a flimsy chair that could easily flip over. I mean, at least this step stool is a little bit more stable than some of those chairs that you'll see. And so let's set ourselves up. And hopefully I'm not going to lose my mic. So you just kind of keep your fingers, your middle fingers, pressing into the block, and then bend your elbows and just kind of figure out where your elbows are going to be safely resting on the blocks. And I can see I'm going to need to get a little bit more closer together. And then just get a feel for this. Just your shoulders and your neck might be a little bit longer or shorter, but your head might be gently resting against the ground like it is with me, just because of the shorter block, or it might be floating a little bit. And I would rather it be just maybe lightly grazing against the ground than for you to be way up here, which can be catastrophic if you fall. So this at least gives you a little bit more stability, but also it gives you the confidence of what it feels to stand on your head. So just draw the chin into your chest and get a feel for where the shoulders are going to be. And then press in with your hands and just get a feel for what it feels like to be upside down.
And then navigate your feet around. So you can begin here with your toes on the first step. And then you can walk onto the second step. And this might be your headstand practice for now. And eventually, you don't want to kick up into a headstand. You just want to build the flexibility in your thighs so that you can do this L shape. You're also pressing into the floor with your hands. So lots of times we get kind of lazy with our hands in this, but you still want to keep this active. And I know a lot of people will do this for a long time in handstand, but also feels good in a headstand. So you're going to feel, I'm not going to put my hand on there, but the psoas is going to get a nice stretch here. And eventually, you can move the butt a little bit closer to the wall, press in with your hands, and then use your core strength to guide both legs up. And again, you're pressing in with your hands, your shoulders are somewhat active, and then your head is not getting so much pressure from a full headstand. And then come down. You can bend both knees or bend one knee at a time. Come onto your step ladder and step down. Bend your knees. Woo. And then come back up.
So I hope that's helpful. You can continue this practice, but always make sure that you're not going too far. You're not being too anxious about just flopping into the headstand. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of time. We have a lot of core strength and a lot of leg flexibility, hamstring flexibility that we need to work on before we go into the full headstand on its own. And again, it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, but then also you're building a little bit of confidence of being upside down. A lot of yoga classes might have a lot of crow poses and stuff to pretend that you're upside down. But you'll find that a headstand practice over time can be really exhilarating, and it can be, it can kind of really shift your perspective if you're having a really down day or even too anxious of a day. A headstand just kind of says, you know what, let's shift perspective a little bit. So I hope you enjoy it.